Welcome, Dave. Welcome to the Duluth
Howdy.
Conservative.
We're back.
We're back, and we're going to try not to say words in the first 10 minutes that get us ratioed out to oblivion, because last time I think we had 3 viewers for the first 15 minutes. So be a little more careful, be a little more happy. This show is just to talk about some news stories you may or may not have heard about, especially if you're in the Duluth, Minnesota area. Duluth and Minnesota have a very good habit of keeping news stories to a minimum around here, especially as they affect or negatively impact the Democrats, or as I like to call them now, the Democrat Socialists of America, because that's who they are being taken over by, especially in Duluth, where 2 of our 3 candidates are being sponsored by the Democrat Socialists of America. And we went over it last week, and we'll probably touch on it a little bit today as I start ranting and raving about it. But I'm also thinking, Dave, I didn't tell you about this, but I'm thinking about getting a pair of glasses or something. People seem extremely distracted by my left eye, which I can't see very well out of, which is about 10% capacity. They seem extremely distracted by that. So I might start wearing glasses in this show just to kind of cover that up so people can concentrate more on the news stories and less about non-news story stuff. So we'll see if we can find
get your 1980s Miami Vice goggles on, and
I think that's cool.
I can't.
I got my Blues Brothers glasses from the 1980s, but I don't know, man.
That'll still work. Yep.
Let's
go works with the hat, though.
I could use the hat. We're going to go through some of these topics. So I'm going to talk about some of the top stories we're going to go through just in case you're joining and would like to go through those. We're going to talk about what's happening up in Ely, Minnesota, which is north of here in Duluth. And there's a big fire in the Boundary Waters canoe area right now, and it is affecting all of Minnesota, mostly up there. They're evacuating people. It's a very horrible thing. But we're going to talk about that a little bit in the air quality. We're going to talk about Senator Lindsey Graham dying at 71 after a brief and sudden illness. And I know that's not new news. That just happened a few days ago, but we just do this show once a week. So we thought we'd talk about it a little bit. Talk about daylight savings time, flock cameras, and that's pretty much our top stories for tonight. So not a whole lot of topics, but kind of interesting stuff.
Yep.
So what I mentioned was in the Boundary Waters canoe area, there is a massive fire going on, and we are getting inundated with smoke in Duluth. It looks like, do you remember watching TV shows and movies from Los Angeles back in the 1980s when it was just haze? That's what it looks like now. So we can pop up a couple of things here, but this is something that Dave found. This is what the map looks like of the smoke and air quality in Duluth and the Twin Cities. So here's the Twin Cities, Minneapolis, St. Paul, and the fires are up here, the Boundary Waters, and you can see it's affecting lots of places, Wisconsin, Minnesota. It's all the way down to the Twin Cities, almost down to into Mankato. So it's not cool here. It's I actually saw, and I'll add this to the stage, air quality was 697. When I woke up this morning, I could take a snapshot of it, but I'm not going to show it here. It was 963.
Wow.
That's not healthy.
That's ridiculous. No. I didn't see a lot of runners out today.
No. But the funny thing is, wife and I were driving down here the other day, and yesterday when it was really bad too. And there was a woman, swear to God, sitting on the curb smoking a cigarette. It's just, you're taking the expressway to the lung cancer,
Yeah. Yeah, it doesn't matter then, because you're going to be smoking anyway. So
yeah, you just take a brisk walk and you get your 2 packs a day in.
Yeah, exactly.
You can see here that hazardous is 301 to 500, 697 at this point, 963 when I did it. So it's pretty bad, but as bad as we have it here, there's the people that live up north that are affected by the fire, getting evacuated, people in the Boundary Waters, pretty terrible stuff. So kind of big shout out to everybody that's fighting this fire and the people that have to live through it for real, which is up there. It's just a nuisance to us. It's not healthy.
Right.
But it's terrible for those guys up there. And Don and I were just up there in Ely, and it's such a beautiful place and such nice people up there. I feel sorry for them. So Minneapolis,
Yeah.
air pollution was ranked worst globally. So I don't know why Minneapolis was singled out there, probably because they're a major city. But worst global, so that's worse than India, which India has got bad weather. I know people that have family that live in India, and there's like 400 is typical day. You know, it's they don't even bat an eye
Right.
to it, and we're twice as bad as that for air quality. I guess the one good thing that I can say out of this is if it is in the United States, the US will try to put this fire out. A lot of these fires, we've been having 6 years worth of fires here of smoke coming down to Duluth, and most of those were from Canada, but Canada just lets them burn. Either
Right.
they're unoccupied areas and they don't really care, or they're just doing wildlife management. But we got weeks of smoke in our city because of that. This is going to be put out, I would assume, because it's the Maori waters, it's canoe area, it's a safety thing. So hopefully
It's
that'll be taken care of.
yeah, and it's sacred land. I mean, it's if in the Twin Cities, it's the the mother of all sacred land. So they're going to put it out no matter what. They'll break the laws, putting it out just so it can be put out. And these fires were started by lightning, like a thunderstorm and lightning. So they'll probably put these out relatively quickly as soon as they can.
Yeah, I didn't hear any indication that this was arson or anything nefarious. So, and I would hope that's
Yeah.
not the case. Some of those fires out in California were started by people, which is horrible. And people
Right.
died because of it. That was bad. You have a graph here that you put up, and I wanted to put it up, and I wanted to talk about why you wanted it on here. So, United States observed number
Well,
of hot days from 1895 to 2025.
the because whenever I was watching the news, all it was they were talking about is it's really dry and fire, very easy to start a fire up there because of climate change. And then then I seen this schedule up, and it's like, well, goes back to 1895, and it definitely shows that we don't have the number of hot days that we used to. It just so they're the ones complaining about the climate change, and then they show a graph that shows it's not climate change. So
yeah, 1934 and 1937 look like pretty bad years, right?
Yeah, right. So it just goes to show to start thinking for yourself before you just listen to the mainstream media. Find actual information and then move forward. So this is just a thunderstorm. It happens. It's not climate change, and so let's rule that out and get on with our lives. So
well, it's funny because yes, they the climate has always changed, right? It's not that
right.
there isn't climate change, and I'm sure mankind does contribute to climate change. I mean, way back when they used to smelt copper and everything, it affected the climate very long, hundreds of miles. But
Right.
The notion that you can tax your way out of fixing this, and that the people that can't run, they can't fix the potholes in the streets. They can't fix healthcare. They can't fix homelessness, but they can fix the climate. I don't think they can.
Right.
So it's a good goal to, always be cleaner, always try to make yourself better, but taxing people to death is not the answer, and killing our economy to do it is not the answer. So, so you hate to think, I'm not denying that climate changes. Look at the ice age, we had an ice
right.
age, it recessed. What would have happened if people were alive then? It would have gone crazy,
Right.
So, yeah, so it's a good graph. It's good to keep in mind that there were hot days when I was a kid, and there was cold days when I was a kid, and there was lots of snow, and there was no snow, and I've gone through a lot of this stuff, and it doesn't seem to be changing that much. It could be getting warmer. I don't think it's humans that are doing it. If it is the humans, it's not the United States. It's
Right.
China. So
yeah,
go over
unless
there.
unless we straighten out China and India, then what we're doing is basically useless. So
right. Okay. Do you want to move on?
Yeah. We use up too much clean air as it is, so we need to get on to the next one.
Take a deep breath and cough it out.
Yep.
And here we go.
Oh,
Senator Lindsey Graham died at 71 after a brief and sudden illness. I saw Kim doing a press conference the day before he died, and there was absolutely no indication that he was even sick. I don't know what it was. I think he had a heart attack. That's what they said. He was visiting a drone factory in Ukraine at the time, or not at the time, but when he was doing his press conference. So he passed away. I don't want to say anything bad about him. I wasn't a big fan of his. I didn't like his policies. That doesn't mean I'm glad he's dead. I wish he would have left his position and power, but not like this. So I don't wish anybody to pass away. Even, like Nancy Pelosi. No, like Nancy Pelosi. Retire, go away, go do your thing, or put her in jail, one of the two. The thing that go ahead.
Go ahead. Well, according to first off, there was a ton of conspiracy theories because he just came back from Ukraine. Mm-hmm. But what the doctors originally are saying is that he basically had a heart condition that killed the same thing that killed John Ritter and Alan Thicke. Alan Thicke, he was playing hockey with his son, and he was taking his skates off after and just fell over. Mm-hmm. And basically separation of your main artery, it separated from the heart, which basically happened. It's not exactly a heart attack, but it's close enough. So that's what they're saying now that he passed away from. He just a big blood vessel ripped away from the heart, and there's nothing you can do about that to save him. So
I think
that's what they're saying.
Heart dissection, I believe it's called, where just like you said, it kind of falls apart. It kind of
correct, and it's not really predictable. And we've had two major celebrities do exactly the same thing. And there's nothing you can really do about it. So
there was a girl that we went to high school with a year after she graduated, passed away with something like this too. I mean, it was
okay,
right?
Yep, right.
The thing, and so I don't really have anything bad or good to say about it. I think he was a warmonger. I didn't like his policies. I was not a big fan of his politically.
Yep.
That being said, still a person. He took care of his sister when he was young, so she didn't have to go in overages. So he did a lot of good stuff too in his life. So the thing that irks me, the thing I want to bring up on this is that his sister was chosen as his replacement. His sister. What qualifications does she have? She doesn't have any. This is not Europe. This, when you got to talk about no kings stuff, this is where you bring it up. This is ridiculous that his sister took his place.
Yeah.
And you go ahead and do your statistics here that you have.
Well, I found a thing that says, according to the U.S. House of Representatives in 2025, 45 widowed women have directly succeeded their late husbands in Congress, 38 in the House and 8 in the Senate. So this is just a common thing we'll just grab a family member in, which is just absolutely ridiculous. Yeah.
It's so lazy.
It's not our representative democracy is not a family heirloom that gets passed around in the family. That's not how it works. It's ridiculous.
Yeah. If I call a plumber, I don't want the plumber's spouse to come and do the job. I want the plumber that I called to do the job, right?
Right. Yeah, exactly. There's one good thing about him that I found out later today was his net worth when he died just now was $1.4 million. He's been a representative for 30 years or something like that, and so he wasn't taking backdoor arrangements to pad his pocket like the other ones are.
At least not as bad.
As a
public servant, that's a lot of money for what he made. But yes, it's not. Yeah, but
he was making $175 a year. So if you start doing the math over 30 years, you can kind of go, well, Yeah, it sort of makes sense. Nancy Pelosi worth $180 million.
Yeah,
Well,
right.
that doesn't make any sense. So,
Well, it makes perfect sense, Dave.
yeah.
In the same
So,
way that I was just talking to somebody today and they said socialism has been tried and it's never worked. And I said, it's kind of like what we were talking about with solving problems. I said, oh, it has worked just for a small amount of people. A
correct.
small amount
Yeah,
of people in charge, it works very well for.
right.
It's the rest of us that suffer, right? So that's
Oh, yeah.
just weird to me. It's weird to me that they picked her. I don't like it. I think it's just lazy politics and but like you said, you found over 40 examples of this happening in the past. So
Right.
here's another contentious issue that I thought was funny is daylight savings time. So Trump has talked about this for a while, wanting to make it permanent. And there's people against this. So there's but the reasoning is so harebrained to me. I don't understand why you'd want to do this. And so I'm thinking about talking to kids who are like just being born this year, and then say we eliminate daylight savings time or make it permanent, one of the two we want to call it. When they get older, they're going to be like, "What was daylight savings time?" Well, we just, we shifted our time back and forward throughout the year. And the answer, and the reaction is going to be, why? Why would you do that?
Right.
I don't have an answer for that.
Well, I mean, originally it was because of the farming.
Even so,
They had to, yeah. So they wanted to. It had to do with what time the farmers got up and started working on the. So they had light to work on that, and
But
so the kids.
the farmers
Right.
got up and got the same time any day, right?
Yeah. So even that, it's a very weak argument for it.
Well,
I mean, I understand it.
I heard it was for retail. So an extra hour at night, people would go out and shop. If it wasn't there, then they would stay home. That's what I heard it was for. I've heard there's lots of different things for why it has been put in place or kept in place. So I thought a good idea for Donald Trump to do, if he really wants to get rid of this, is to rename it Donald Trump Daylight Savings Time.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Donald Savings Time. Put his name on it, and they will get rid of it as soon as they possibly can.
Yeah, they'll shut down the Kennedy Center just so they have time to take his name off of it.
Exactly. Or he should come out and favor. Yeah, I like daylight savings time. I think we should keep it. That's it. We're getting rid of it.
Yeah.
Okay. I want to go into.
I mean, in real terms, I could care less. At noon, the sun is supposed to be directly over your position, and then everything else can adapt nowadays. So,
well,
you can go
living out in Hawaii.
You can go away.
In Hawaii, they don't observe daylight savings time.
Yeah,
and we were just fine. Now, I know the days are a lot more. I mean, throughout the year, the days just kind of squeeze like this, where in Minnesota they squeeze like this. They're very very big changes in time, where right now it's still light out at 10 o'clock and it's getting light out at 4 o'clock in the morning, and then in the middle of winter it's not light out until 9 o'clock in the morning and it's starting to get dark at 4. I mean, we get a big change. So I understand that, but still I think we can deal with it without
we can survive time. Yeah.
I want to talk about flock cameras. So, Dave, what do you know about flock cameras?
Well, I know there's a lot of arguing about them because most people think that it's used for police, so police can solve crimes, where other people think it's just to monitor everybody day in and day out. Mm-hmm. So, I guess I'm going to have to look into it like a data center. I have to look into it more to see what they're actually using the information for.
It's not even what they're using the information for. So I've already kind of made my mind up about these, and I want to dismantle them all. I'd like to take them all down. They're putting them on trailheads. They're putting them all over, and it's in the last 2 years they've exploded. We have them in Duluth here too, and it's using AI to monitor where you're going all the time, every day. And if it was just for traffic, it would be on the roads, which I don't agree with to begin with. But putting them on trailheads, putting them in public places at parks, that's just to track where you are. And if AI is good enough now to recognize who you are and be able to put you at a place and time. And it's not so much I'm worried about people knowing where I am. It's a privacy thing. I kind of think of it as like in the mail. You put a piece of mail in an envelope and seal it to send it to somebody, not because you have some nefarious thing inside of it or some conspiracy. It's because that message is not for the public. It's for that person. And it's the same kind of thing. It doesn't have to be well, if you're not worried about what you're doing, if you're not breaking the law, you shouldn't be worried about it. No, that's not true. I don't like this fact that we're being tracked. I don't like the idea that they're using public areas to be able to put these cameras up. They're putting them on streetlights and everything. That shouldn't be happening. We need to outlaw this monitoring of us. It's against our right to privacy. So I really would like these things dismantled. And I posted a couple stories of people taking vigilante action against these things to destroy them. And one that you popped up was, be a real shame if people found out there was copper inside these cameras.
Yeah.
So that's my take.
I've seen that. I've seen that one. Hey, there's 4 pounds of copper and 3 pounds of gold in every flock camera.
Exactly. I don't want a police state. And did I talk about this? I think I talked about it last time, the difference between fascism and socialism. And the fascism is a real quick thing. Fascism is, you can't be worse than me, right? You can't, I hold my standard up here and you better meet it. That's fascism, which is bad.
Yeah.
Socialism is, you can't be better than me. And that's equally as bad, but probably worse. But that means, I have envy, I have greed, and I will not allow anybody else to get better than me. So any kind of advancement, anytime you show that you're trying to succeed, they will attack you and try to take that from you. So you beat you down to their level. So this seems like it could be used by either fascism or socialism for the wrong reasons. So I think it's a big invasion of privacy. I think we need to stamp that out. And I wouldn't be surprised if, people are wondering if this is why data centers are popping up all over the place. Maybe that's what it's for, to use these for monitoring.
Right. It goes along the same lines with a cashless society. So if you don't have cash, then they can monitor every single penny that you spend. And you don't want that.
Right.
You have freedoms of privacy in America. That's basically how it works. So,
and this is along the social credit score too. If they, if you do something wrong, they don't like, and people in China are facing this right now. You can't find a place to live. You can't rent anything because you don't have social credit. Well, this can track you. And what I've heard is this is the start of trying to get those 15-minute cities again. So this is what they were trying to do during COVID-19. They were like, yeah, let's push it in. And then people were destroying the cameras, but this is the same thing. And I don't want to go down I don't know if that's true or not, but I'm just saying that that's what they think that this is for. Now, for data centers, the reason I'm not so saying absolutely no to data centers is because I don't know if this is being used for that. And number two is, we've got to be competitive with quantum computing, which is what these data centers might be geared up to true, is quantum computing. The reason quantum computing is so important is because that's something that can be used to decrypt everything we've ever encrypted up to this point in seconds. So we need to then have quantum computers when they become available to re-encrypt things using quantum computers, which is how you deal with it. And we need to be able to be competitive with that. So,
right.
If somebody told me these are flock camera centers, yeah, I would say, no, we can't have these things.
Right. Yeah.
There you go. I'm not into advocating this. I'm just putting these out there.
Oh, I see stories after stories of the people taking them out and destroying them. Right. So,
not that we say that's okay. No, we're not advocating for that.
No, because it's not our You don't wreck other people's stuff.
Right. The job is to go and make these things illegal if they're surveilling people. And the big problem too is this. They'll capture all the surveillance. It's not legal for the government to capture it, but it is legal for the government to buy it, apparently. So they're being able to surveil you without breaking the law, breaking the Fourth Amendment, but they can purchase it because it's available for purchase. So they shouldn't be able to use any of the trunks, any of the common areas, and everything they capture should be something that you can say, I don't want to be captured and I want to delete it. And if they can't provide that, then shut it down. So
right.
That's my opinion on it.
Yeah. Especially if you're not doing anything illegal.
It doesn't matter. Yeah. Well, if somebody's doing something illegal, I don't have any sympathy for them, but I don't want to be monitored even in my day-to-day boring life. You know, just because I go to Qdoba for dinner, I don't want somebody to know that so they can market to me. That's ridiculous.
Yeah.
It's none of your business what I do day to day, to be honest. Although I do a show and talk about it.
Yeah. And I shut all my location services down on my cell phone. So technically it's not supposed to know where I am, even though it's, I'm sure they do know where I am. So,
well, you've got a license plate on your truck and this thing reads license plates. So as soon as it can tie it to you, I mean, when I worked at one of these major retailers, as soon as they got your credit card, they knew this whole circle of information about you. As long as they can tie you to it, what you purchased, it was like a ring around, you know, they could figure out where you lived, where you went, what your habits were. Pretty intrusive stuff.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's move on. We're trying to do a short show. I do have to do work tonight. I have a deployment I have to do at 7:30. So we will have to get through this fairly quick, but we don't have a lot of stuff tonight. We only have 11 pages.
No.
We'll move on to the Minnesota legislature. And you put a stat up here that Michele Tafoya, who is not an endorsed candidate, Adam Shorzy is the endorsed candidate for Senate. Michele Tafoya, who just kind of entered too. She's only been around for a couple of months in this. And Angie Craig each raised $2.6 million in the second quarter as primary opponents lag behind. So it shows here that the other Republican U.S. Senate candidates, so she raised $2.62 million with $2 million on hand. Adam Shorzy raised $291,000, which is a respectable amount because he's not taking it from anybody other than people that are just doing donations. He's not taking any PACs or anything like that. And Royce White has done $83,000, which is respectable as well. But I see Adam's stuff all over the place. He's a really good guy. I don't know much about Michele, but I don't know why she is so popular with Democrats and the owners of the Star Tribune. And that's what bothers me the most.
We discussed this on previous programs is Michele is connected to the NFL because she spent so many years as a sideline reporter. She knows all of these outside big, deep pocket people. So she announces, and all these people are giving her huge money for her campaign.
Mm-hmm.
They don't really care if she's qualified or not qualified or endorsed, not endorsed. They just Michele's doing it. Hey, let's throw her a ton of money. So
here's the more interesting one to me, though. In the DFL, Peggy Flanagan is the endorsed candidate, right?
Yeah.
She's the current lieutenant governor, right?
Yeah.
She raised $1.39 million, but Angie Craig has raised $2.64 million. That's kind of amazing to me. I kind of get Tafoya. She's a name. I don't get Angie Craig getting that much more than, but they must not like Peggy Flanagan at all in the DFL.
No.
Maybe that's the same thing too. Maybe the conservatives are contributing to Angie Craig because of the disaster that Peggy Flanagan would be if she got elected. My God.
Yeah, but they're kind of doing the opposite. If she's going to lose in the primary, then they want to go against someone. They want our rep to go against a worse candidate. So they would want Penny Flanagan to win the primary because she's such a loser that she's I doubt she would ever win the main election. So
right. Pete Stauber has raised $314,000 with cash on hand of $1 million. Trina Swanson. So is this a primary challenger to Stauber?
Yeah, no, Trina Swanson is the DFL endorsed.
Oh,
Going to go head to head with Pete in the final, in the general election back in November. So, as you can see, Pete's doing a little bit better on her as far as fundraising goes.
Yeah. My factor is 6. She's raised 52,000 with cash on hand of 18,000. Pete has raised 314,000 with cash on hand of $1 million. So it's a pretty big monetary swing. It doesn't necessarily mean it's a slam dunk, but Pete's pretty popular outside of Duluth. In Duluth, he's not as popular, but outside of Duluth, he is very popular.
Great.
For governor, let's talk about governor. Lisa Damoth has received 360,000, spent 286,000, and cash on hand 517,000. Kendall Qualls has received 211,000, so he's pretty competitive with Lisa on that.
Yeah,
spent 294,000, still has 34,000 on hand, so she has a lot more cash on hand than he has. But that was the same as when they went into the primary. Mike Lindell has received 648,000, so twice as much as those two, or twice as much as Lisa, and 3 times as much as Kendall. Spent 717 and has 11,000 on hand. So he spent a lot of money.
Yeah, and these numbers come from the June report. So this is basically the second quarter. This isn't their whole election. This is a segment of but this is the information that just came out. So you got to have the cash on hand to understand what they did basically prior to the start of this report. So,
and Amy Klobuchar, protector of the poor and downtrodden and working class, has received $7 million. Spent $3.5 million and still has $3.8 million on hand. So I'm glad all the working people are supporting her with $10, $20 at a time, and she's got $7 million.
Yeah.
But the big news is Donald Trump has endorsed Mike Lindell for Minnesota governor. So I was talking to Mike at one of these events, and he thought Trump was going to endorse him a couple of weeks ago. I don't know why the timing is what it is, but he's now gotten the endorsement of Donald Trump, which Donald Trump's got a pretty good track record of endorsing winners. We'll see what happens here. There's still the primary to go. I've been seeing things that say that Mike Lindell is winning the race now. I mean, the polls I saw in the Twin Cities, it has him ahead in the lead. Do you want to try to do the Trump impersonation, or should I just read it straight?
I just read it straight.
Okay. Yeah. I can't do a Trump. No. Mike will be spectacular. He truly loves Minnesota, as do I, and wants to bring it back from oblivion and embarrassment. He can do it. Trump posted Wednesday on his Truth Social platform. Qualls responded. So Kendall Qualls is the Republican endorsed candidate. And his response was, President Trump is the president the country needed over the past decade, and I've been a proud supporter of his since day one. I'll continue to support him and his America First policies when I'm governor. This race won't be won by national endorsements, though. It will be decided by Minnesota Republicans, the same Republicans who supported President Trump in all 3 of the campaigns and who time and time again have lined up behind our campaign as the only candidate endorsed by the Minnesota Republican Party. Republican delegates did the hard work and got it right at the statewide convention in Duluth. I'm trusting them and their fellow Republicans that are closeted, or closest, not closeted, closest to the issues of Minnesota. They know that I'm the one candidate that can beat a 20-year sitting U.S. Senator, not Lisa Damoth, or Mike Lindell. So classy response by Kendall Qualls, well-spoken. And we're going to see the delegates. There's 2,000 delegates. There's a lot more people in the primary, and that's who gets to decide who the Republican candidate is. As much turmoil there was at the convention and people being mad about the endorsement, it's just an endorsement. It's not the primary. So get out and vote. If you don't agree with it, now's your chance. After the primary, then you got to shut up and get behind the candidate, whoever it is. And that's what I will do. Because when it came down to Mike, Lisa, and Kendall, I was like, I'm good. Any of the three. They're great. So I will support whoever the endorsed or the primary candidate is. Okay. Anything else?
No, I thought that was pretty interesting though, and I thought Kendall did a great job at not being a whiny little baby about not getting Trump's endorsement. So
I think it's
I think it plays well for him to not sit there and whine like a Democrat baby. So
yeah, he's a really classy guy. I really like that guy.
Yeah, I mean, I really wish that Trump endorsed Amy Klobuchar. I thought that would have been one way to get rid of her, but
God.
you know.
Yeah, we'll look out at the street and watch heads explode. I mean, they could not handle that, man.
No.
All right, let's move on to Tim Walz news. So you remember we talked about it last week that Tim Walz is one of 3 members of the pardoning board in Minnesota. Tim Walz, Keith Ellison, you can't beat Keith, and one of the judges on the Minnesota Supreme Court. They make up the pardoning board, and they pardoned a man who repeatedly molested a 10-year-old girl, and they did that so he wouldn't be deported. And Tim had a response, which was, we'll go into that story, so we'll flip-flop them. He said, when the Trump administration was trying to deport him, and they deported him, they revoked his legal status. Tim Walz said, "Does that make us any safer? Did that make the children that are left behind any more stable? Did it improve the idea that we can't all be judged by our worst day?" And I want to be very clear, these are horrific crimes. They often are, Walz added. His worst day. Yes. Yeah. Yes, I will judge a man based on that worst day. I will happily throw him in the wood chipper based on that worst day of his. That poor 10-year-old girl is never going to be the same. You have absolutely no excuse. And for him to even make that correlation, he has no business have ever been in a position of power. And I don't say that just as myself. His family said that.
Right. Yeah.
So when they did that, Secretary of State Marco Rubio revoked the legal status, and he's going to be gone. He's going to be deported out of here if he hasn't already. He has now been deported by ICE. Good.
I think so. Yeah, I think he's gone. So that's the main thing.
Good. Yeah. Yeah. Thank God.
Yeah. So once again, we had to wait to rely on the federal government to keep Minnesota safe.
Right. They're the ones investigating the fraud. They're the ones taking out the illegals. And all they're doing down in Minneapolis is protecting people that are not citizens, that are not taxpayers. And we got to stop this. I don't go to work every day so I can support somebody from another country coming here and sucking off the system. We've got veterans who are homeless. Take care of them first. Take care internal first. If you've got extra money, it's not the government I'm talking about. For regular people, if you got extra money and you want to give it to them, that's fine. Don't force other people to do that. That's socialism. All right.
Right.
I'm not going to get mad. My wife texted me last week. I'm getting too angry. Hasn't texted me yet, so we're good.
Yeah.
All right, let's go on to Minnesota news. Former Obama aide was fired from the Minneapolis city job over credit card thefts. So, oh my God, isn't that the kid? Isn't he in the Dr. Evil movies? Isn't he the Dr. Evil's son?
Oh, yeah. Sort of looks like him, yeah.
Scott. You just don't get it, do you, Scott? So obviously you can't tie this to Obama. It's just funny that one of his boys is, again, corrupt.
Right. And the feds probably had to take care of it.
Here's an interesting one, new one here. This is about Minnesota at University of Minnesota. There's a lawsuit. Minnesota students can be expelled for saying men and women are different. So that's the headline. Under UMN's current sexual harassment and pronoun usage policies, students like Barrick, this is a person that's doing this lawsuit, could be accused of harassment and face discipline, including expulsion, for saying there are only two sexes, refusing to use preferred pronouns, and speaking out against men participating in women's sports or individuals using the bathroom designated for opposite sex. So you want to start talking about fascism or Nazism or word police, this is where it starts. The people that think they're helping are not. Let people express their opinions.
Yeah, that's freedom of speech. I mean, that's. I mean, we'll talk about it next week because they moved the trial date again about the Rochester female who used a naughty word. Yeah, the mother, and she said a naughty word and then left, and so her trial got moved from the 14th to the 20th. So next week we'll see how if Minnesota still believes in freedom of speech or not. So that got moved.
You keep moving it because the process is the punishment, remember?
Right.
All right. On to national news. See, we're clipping around pretty good here. President Trump has called for an end to property taxes across the United States, calling them perpetual rent that prevents Americans from truly owning their homes. There you go. Another one of my policies put up there by the president. I swear to God, these places are watching us week to week because they keep coming up with the stuff that we talk about. It's one or the other. I don't know who's first, but I think it's us because we're just that good.
Yeah.
So I agree. You can't truly own your home. You say you paid it off, but you know what? You're still paying property taxes on it. So if you don't pay your property taxes, what happens? Government seizes your house, sells it, takes their money, and you lose it. So you're renting it. You're renting your house. You can never pay it off. I would like to have seniors have their property taxes frozen, first of all, and then start chipping it down so that people aren't paying property taxes anymore.
Yeah, and that was part of his plan. He said he proposed a targeted plan to eliminate property taxes entirely for seniors at age 65 who have paid off their mortgage. So once you pay your mortgage off over 65, no more property taxes. So that was part of his plan. So,
hey, once you get to a certain age, you've kind of done all you can do. You can't go get a job to make ends meet, right? You can't just go, I'm just going to go work at Walmart. 65, you're starting to fall apart. And I'm not being mean. I'm getting there myself. So it's like, you've paid your dues. Why don't you just have peace of mind that you can live in your house that you've been living in your whole life and then, pass it on.
Right.
All right. So the next story is Supreme Court Justice Amy Coney Barrett that shares a rare personal story about a son, 12, and a plea for beefed up SCOTUS security. So she's pleading for more security, which I don't think they should be in fear of their lives as Supreme Court justices. The thing that gets me, though, is that she just ruled in favor of this birthright citizenship, putting us all in danger. So she's okay with putting us in danger. And many of these lawmakers are just okay with doing these laws, but they can afford to have security for them so that they don't face the consequences of it. We do. It doesn't matter to them. It's altruistic. It's academic. We can do whatever we want. And you'll pay the price. And we don't care because we're protected. As soon as and we've seen this many times, right? As soon as it affects them, all of a sudden, oh no, you can't have that anymore. I mean, look at the people that attacked those judges. Some guy launched himself at a judge. Well, he was going to get off the hook, but now he's facing serious time because you can't attack a judge. That's forbidden. Right. Well, I don't know how a judge is better than us. They're just a person doing a job.
Yeah, and this is part of Bloody Mary Moriarty's plan, this is the long range ending of what a Democrat city looks like.
Yeah.
Because these people have been trained that there are no consequences for their actions. Mm-hmm. So it starts out as, like you say, rushing a judge, but now it's physically threatening the lives of Supreme Court justices because they know that nothing's going to happen to them. And as this just sort of escalates and escalates and escalates, and the violent left has now created this war zone, basically. So now, the President Trump trying to get assassinated 4 times. That's never happened before. And now the judges are getting completely harassed, where that's basically never happened to this level before. Mm-hmm. I mean, at some point, there's got to be, there's get Bloody Mary out of office. Start when they're young. These kids hijacking cars. Well, they don't get out until they're 35. Put them away for 20 years. Yeah. Then they'll understand that there's got to be consequences. Until we get to this consequence stage, none of it matters. And this is just an example of all of that.
Yeah, you're right. Once they see one of two of their buddies that gets put away for a substantial amount of time, they will change their behavior. It will happen. Right.
Yeah.
And it gets that person off the street who, it's like 10% of the people commit 95% of the crime. It's the same people. It's this, take them out, put them in jail. And what used to happen is we as a society felt free because we would take the people that were bad and stick them behind walls. Well, they don't do that anymore. So now good people are sticking themselves behind walls. That's why you have these gated communities, because they want to feel safe somehow. So if they're not going to put them in jail, they're going to separate themselves out. And that's just not a way to live in a free society. Then you get 15-minute cities out of it too.
Right.
As soon as you got a gated community, you've kind of got a built-in 15-minute city right there. So maybe that's the point.
Right.
Yeah, but we need Mary Moriarty gone, and she will be gone at the end of this year. We need Keith Ellison gone. That guy is a disaster.
Yeah.
Vote him out. Vote the Minneapolis City Council out. Vote the Duluth City Council out, because they're a bunch of socialists too. They're all basically, almost all of them are supported by the DSA.
Right.
So, and I was thinking, Dave, let me go off on a tangent here, because I like doing that.
Yeah.
Lefts are all about diversity, right? We need diversity. Well, we've got 2 representatives in Duluth, both Democrat. We've got a SD 8 senator, Democrat. We've got a Democrat mayor. We've got socialist city council, Democrat. We've got a Democrat governor, Secretary of State, Attorney General. They're all Democrats. Where's the diversity? Yeah. I don't have any representation all the way up the line. Pete Stauber is the only one that I've got as a Republican. We have no diversity. You want some diversity? Elect some Republicans, or conservatives at least, because there's no diversity whatsoever. As it was, even the Supreme Court. That's all. They're all been appointed by Walz and goofy Governor Dayton.
Yeah.
So let's get some diversity going on here. Be bold.
Yeah, there's 8 states up in the Northeast, even though they're 40% Republican, have 0 representatives in the federal House.
Right.
So they don't believe in tolerance and diversity there either. It's
right.
Theirs is do what we say, or you're a ist or an ism.
Well, we like diversity as long as we're in charge. As long as it's not us being, weeded out. I actually saw something that said that they were talking about a community, and they said it was 90% white, and they then progressed to now 70% white and 30% non-white. I was like, progressed? I wouldn't use that term. I wouldn't say it's regressed or bad, but I wouldn't say it's good either. It's not. You're not progressing just by reducing the number of white people. That's fairly racist. There was a letter to the editor of the Duluth News Tribune. I read it, and it was appalling to me. And it was a woman who is running the League of Women Voters out in one of the states. It was a nonsensical diatribe of stupidity. and this is in the Duluth News Tribune. It was one of their editorials. Two women from the League of Women Voters wrote it, and it is one of the dumbest things I've ever read. And I'll dissect it a little bit, and we'll go through it next week. But just the absolute stupidity of what they were saying made me question why the paper would even publish it. So
yeah, I mean, other than to show how stupid they are, that doesn't make much sense.
I mean, yeah, you have the right to express these stupid opinions, but maybe you shouldn't.
Yeah.
All right. Cop threatens to ticket somebody based on offensive speech. So this woman, cop, is talking to this guy, and she's threatening him because she doesn't like what he's saying. And I think, go ahead and play it.
It's like music, not talking. If someone is offended by your talking, then we have a problem.
That is a constitutional violation of our rights. If you shut us down,
No, if they are offended by your speech, okay, then I'll write you the ticket and then we'll go from there.
Wait, you're going to take us for offensive speech?
Yes, absolutely.
Are you serious?
Speech.
You're going to cite us for
Yes, it's
offensive
called disorderly
speech.
conduct.
No.
Yes, it is.
Disorderly conduct.
Did you hear that, Dave? Disorderly conduct.
Our favorite
This is the
sentence.
conduct
I'm a
that you're
retired
doing.
police officer myself.
For who?
26 years federal law enforcement.
So it's federal. So this has nothing to do with local.
Wow. It's
Nothing to do with local.
Well,
Whatever you want to think that you can do.
whatever says 80
Whatever we
decibels
think.
Cut it.
is 80 decibels.
Because y'all know the law so well.
Can you believe that? I mean, she honestly believes that. If you offend somebody, we can arrest you. We can ticket you.
Ticket you.
How did they get through the police academy like this? How could they be so stupid? I mean, it's a constitutional right. You don't have a constitutional right to not be offended. It's not in there.
Yeah. There's nothing that's in the Constitution that says you can't hear offensive things.
Right. Yeah. And or be offended.
Right.
As the one guy said, be offended. That's your right. That's your right. You can't take that away from somebody.
Yeah.
All right. I like this next article. So Donald Trump has nominated somebody for a U.S. attorney, and the federal judges there, they didn't allow it. So what they did was they appointed their own U.S. attorney. So that because they blocked, because the POTUS's pick was blocked, they picked their own. So the attorneys just picked a Democrat to take this AG spot, and Trump fired him 30 minutes after he took position, and then that means his pick is the de facto U.S. attorney in Seattle. So
Nice.
hey, go ahead, appoint your guy. Go ahead, 30 minutes.
Yeah. Yeah, they're playing checkers when Trump is playing chess. Definitely.
That's good stuff. And then the last bit of fun. Look at that. I
Yeah.
this $1 coin. The thing I thought was the funniest is this looks like it is his mugshot picture. I think
Yeah, it doesn't look too
fantastic.
amused. Yeah.
The guy is a freaking 7th level troll. I swear to God. And it wasn't, this isn't his idea. He didn't do this. They did this to honor him in the 250th birthday of America. So it's not like, well, Trump wanted this. He didn't order this. He didn't advocate for this. He said he was very happy about it, but he didn't, he doesn't have the power to do it. And just so you know, people, it's not really gold. It's gold finish.
Yeah.
Because if it was that size and made out of pure gold, it'd be worth a lot more than $1. It'd be like $100
Right.
coin, right? But
Yeah, it's not.
going to be legal
No,
tender.
it'd be. Well, I guess I don't know how much it weighs, but it'd probably be closer to $1,000
Probably.
if it was pure gold.
I think it's legal tender. I think it is.
Yeah.
Pretty sure it is, but I think it's pretty funny.
I mean, no one's going to use it as a coin, but so that's how they basically make money.
Oh yeah, yeah. People will
Because
buy
no one's
that
going
as
to
a
spend
souvenir.
it. Yeah.
And the last for national news, we're doing pretty good. University of California had announced they're going back to standardized testing. Remember, they got rid of it first, and then they had students that didn't know how to read, certainly couldn't read cursive, but couldn't read and comprehend. So they decided they were going to back. Well, they've suspended that because they can't take proactive measures because nobody can be better than me. So they have to make sure that that bar is just as low as possible, right? Socialism can't be better than me. Envy and greed, that's what it's for. So they're going to go away from it. So they suspended it. They didn't abandon it, but they suspended it for now.
Well, at least that's what they're going to tell the public.
Right.
What they do behind closed doors is a completely different thing, but we're not going to do that anymore. So
yeah.
We'll see.
International news. The burqa, that headscarf that the Muslim women wear, is to be banned in Danish schools. So Denmark announced plans to ban the burqas in schools and universities as part of its battle against so-called parallel societies. And I agree with this too. I mean, it's like there is parallel societies. You can't ring church bells on Sunday, but you can have call to prayer over the city 5 times a day. That doesn't seem right to me. And
no,
you eliminate Christmas and all these other holidays, but then you start adding in Muslim holidays. It's not right. So the religious garment is already banned in public spaces, but the move would extend the order to classrooms across the country. So they're fighting back against this domination thing.
Yeah, they just want their culture, is basically, and they're getting overwhelmed, and they're trying to, you stop it with the school kids. That's why in the States, that's why the trans community is so emboldened on wiping out our children. Their pre-Ks.
Yeah.
Get that mindset in there early. So,
speaking of which, I didn't think I told you, but I did not get the teachers union endorsement.
No.
I kind of saw the writing on the wall when one of the union members that questioned us was the moderator at the Democrats forum they had. So that was, I kind of saw that coming, but I was.
Did they send you a letter?
They sent me an email, which was nice.
Okay. Yeah, that's polite at least. Did you? Can I respond, or did you respond, or you let me respond to that one?
I will respond. Don't respond.
I'm not as classy as Walz is.
Next story.
I've been practicing all my 4-letter words too. Yeah. So.
Oh God.
Yeah.
Hey, you know what? When I win, I'm still going to talk to them. I mean, they're still they need to be represented by somebody, and that's what my job would be. Yeah. So it's not like I feel bad. I of course they're going to endorse the person that's going to say everything for everything you want. I mean, one of the questions was, will you fully fund the schools? The answer from my opponent was absolutely. Not only fully fund, but we'll give you extra,
Right.
Because the Democrat Socialists of America, their plan is fully funded education from all the way from pre-kindergarten all the way through college, which also means free room and board as well, by the way. Did you know that? So not only college
I heard
classes,
about that.
but with no payment whatsoever, all the way through college. So they want to fund all the way from 0 to 23 plus. I mean, I don't know if that covers doctors, but that's 10 years in college. So that could be 0 to 28 years old, a fully funded somebody. Who wouldn't go to school if you can get free housing and free food, right?
Right. Well, yeah, you're not going to try because it's free.
Well, I'll just take the minimum number of credits I need and make it a 6-year plan. I mean, all right. Next story. Oof. A trans woman seeks refuge from Trump's USA and went to the Netherlands and gets placed in migrant camp with Muslim men. And it didn't go well.
No.
They were not having a good time. So there's a story on this, but I think they got attacked, right?
He got attacked, many times and was constantly being threatened. So it didn't go so well. So now she wants to come back to the U.S. because obviously it's a lot safer.
Well, that's like the queers for Palestine and gays for Palestine and stuff like that.
Yeah.
They're not keeping it secret that they don't like, they're against gay people openly, right? I know they do behind closed doors, but I just know this. They're not keeping it secret that they do not like gay people. And why you would support them, or why women would support that, I don't understand at all. Somebody needs to explain that to me at some point.
Well, the other thing that people aren't probably didn't put two and two together was he thinks he's a female, yet Netherlands said, no, you're a male, and put him with other males. They didn't fall for, I'm a female, so therefore you need to put me in a female refugee camp. No, they put you in a male refugee camp because you're a guy. Sorry, but you're a guy.
Y chromosome coming back to haunt you, buddy.
Yep. So that's part of the story that kind of got missed in the whole thing. Is Netherlands understands the difference between a man and a woman.
Yeah,
it's kind of a tough one, but yeah.
Well, our Supreme Court justices, some of them don't even know what a woman is, so there is that.
Right.
But there needs to be a woman president, but they can't define what a woman is, and then men are women.
Yeah.
Cross-eyed on that.
Who knows? Yeah.
All right. We'll move on to health and fitness and then wrap it up here. Doctors reveal the hidden dangers from some Ozempic Wegovy users with brain disorders. So is this people with existing brain disorders or what?
It was kind of tough to tell on that perspective, but actually it kind of made me laugh because they were interviewing this Jinsey Andrews, a medical doctor, a neurologist and director of New York's Lagone's ALS Center. Well, for people who don't remember, that ALS is Lou Gehrig's disease, which is a fatal progressive disease that stops everything from working except your eyelids. So it's a horrible, disgusting disease, and there's a lot of charities around Duluth that are really helping out with trying to get money for this organization. It's a really big deal, but if you have ALS, the last thing you're going to worry about is losing weight with a weight loss drug. You've got a massive, serious problem with Lou Gehrig's disease that. Don't even worry about the GLPs. That is just secondary nonsense that means absolutely nothing.
Is that like rearranging the deck furniture on the Titanic? That kind of thing?
It's basically, yeah. So, there might be hidden dangers, but if you've got ALS, we don't care about the GLP-1s.
Right. Well, that's it for health and fitness, except for, I would say, get out and enjoy the sunshine, which was the fact 2 days ago, but now don't go outside. Keep your health. Stay inside and do something. Maybe walk around or do some sit-ups or push-ups or whatever you can do, even walking around. We need to get healthier as a society. Watching some of the videos and seeing some of the people that are walking around, we need to do better. And that means, and I'm not judging people, I'm saying our food is not good. So we need to make better choices, I guess.
Right.
All right. Dave's word of the day. Dave, go.
Kind of a weak word of the day. Today is political swamp, because we were talking earlier in the show about Trump wanted to drain the swamp, yet he allowed what the guy's name, Lindsey Graham's sister, to take over his position, even though that's part of the swamp, basically. So a political swamp is a metaphor for a self-serving, deeply entrenched political establishment. It refers to a system characterized by political corruption, cronyism, the heavy influence of corporate lobbyists, and a permanent ruling class that prioritizes special interests in its own survival over the needs of the general public. So they had the cronyism as they were taking care of themselves and not really caring what was best for the people. So
I don't know if Trump has anything to say about who they appoint, but still you'd think he would speak out against it and say that's not right.
Well, No, but I heard him say that that's what he wanted also. She was actually appointed by the state. I think he was South Carolina. And the rules say that the governor has to appoint someone, but this was Trump's choice also.
Okay.
So, you can say that, we're just tried and true. We're mega Trump fans. But in this one, he did wrong, and we take everything at we don't take everything at face value. We look at it, see if it's the right or wrong for America, and then make a decision. This is wrong to just, we'll throw a sister in there.
Yeah.
I think Trump is wrong in that. And, I'll say that to his face too, if he, since he's listening. So
I forgot we're doing Thomas Sowell quotes too. So I'm going to put one up here.
Do you have one?
This goes back to the teachers union thing, just to keep in mind. Here it comes. When you want to help people, you tell them the truth. When you want to help yourself, tell them what they want to hear. So when they're saying, will you fully fund education? Will you give us this pension? Will you give us minimum wage? Will you give us free health care? Which is everything your union should be doing for you, by the way, and they're not.
Yeah.
And you say yes, you're doing that to get their endorsement so you can win an election and then you're not held to it. So, and I'm sure she'll try, but because she's a far leftist, just like far rights, nothing gets passed that she does. So it'll make you feel good.
Yeah.
She tried, and maybe one will sneak in, but for the most part, radicals don't get their bills passed. They just add noise to ones that were passed by somebody else. Right? What name
Right.
one thing she chief authored that went through? I don't think there is anything.
Not that I've ever found. No.
No. Well, so I think we made it through without saying any really bad words, which maybe we'll get more viewers now because we were up and then slammed down. And I noticed today when I went in to look at YouTube and I was looking at some of my favorite channels like The Critical Drinker, I was looking and he had 6 videos online. So I don't know if that was a glitch or what happened, but I think they're back now. So, and I think we had like 5 videos still left that were displayed that you can get to. So we'll see.
Yeah.
All right. Anything else for this week, Dave?
Nope. You've got to get back to work. So we got to wrap her up.
I got to end my 14-hour day and then do it all tomorrow. Yeah. All right. Well, thanks for joining. If you stayed the whole time, thanks for going through. If you liked what we said, that's great. If you don't, thank you for staying and please make some comments. You don't have to talk about my eye anymore. I mean, you can if you really want to, if that makes you feel good, but I get it. It doesn't track. I mean, I can't see out of it. So,
yeah.
And then Shaka, it was a sugar mill accident. That was what my wife corrected me. It wasn't a train accident. So that's why the 3 fingers are missing. I still haven't looked that up, but that's pretty cool. Everybody be good. Do your homework. And if you vote for somebody, know why you're voting for them so that you can make the right choice.
Yeah.
Other than that, let's pull that banner down and start our music. And we are going to go out for the night. Thanks for coming. Stay inside, stay cool, and stay out of the smoke because it's bad out there.
Yeah.
All right. We'll see you next week. Thanks, everybody.